I have my greases right here. I just got some on my phone, and hopefully it stops making the noise and we don't have to rebuild this coaster brake. So let's put the grease inside. I just took everything out and look at the grease. There's no grease. What is this? This is tiny little bit of grease is in here, and the bearings are just eating themselves. They're turning rusty because there's no grease inside. So I'm gonna have to add more grease, and I have some of this white grease right here, and then I have some red, a little bit of red. So I'm gonna mix it and hope that can do. And the drum, you can tell how long this has been hot. It's been like this. The drum is starting to eat itself. That's why when I'd ride this bike, it would overheat. This would turn like hot where you couldn't touch it because there was no grease at all. I thought because it was just worn out, but it is worn out, but it's not because of that. It's because there was no grease. So we're gonna put some grease in here first. I'm not gonna take this out because there's grease been in here, and I don't want to take it out and then start slipping because some bikes you take the old grease out, you put new grease, and it starts slipping. So I'm just gonna add grease to it. And I'm not gonna change the bearings because look at this. If you change the bearings on this thing, I don't think you'll pedal forward, and I don't think anything would happen anymore because these bearings have grooved themselves into the cup to the point that if you change them, the new ones would just slip on the cup. So it's not good. If you want to know how to put a coaster brake back together, I did a whole video on it. This day I'm not going in depth on how to put a coaster brake back together because I did it already. This was just because I wanted you guys to see how bad the coaster brake was in this. So, I forgot how you put the brake pads. Let's check. If you're thinking about doing a coaster brake at home, just be aware that this job is very, very, very dirty. They should probably wear gloves. Don't be like me and wear gloves, okay? Because this grease right here doesn't come off. Especially if it's the original grease. Like mine doesn't have much of original grease left, right? But if it's the original grease, it's not coming off. Trust me, it's not coming off my hands. I've done enough of these where I figured that out very quickly. When you build these coaster brakes, rebuild them, if you open one up and the bearings are like eaten like these ones, just don't bother putting new bearings in because if you put new bearings in, all that it's gonna do, I put the wrong bearings here, all that's gonna do is that it's just gonna eat it. you won't have your bike at all, because sometimes the bearings are so bad, you put them in, and it doesn't even work anymore. I've done that. I've got new bearings, put them in a coaster brake, and because the coaster brake was so bad, it didn't do anything. You would pedal forwards, pedal backwards, nothing. So, and I've rebuilt about 6 of these now? 6? Yeah, about 6. 6 of these coaster brakes I've rebuilt. And a lot of them, when they break, they're mostly fine. So it's better off just putting new grease in it and let it go until the bearings go out. That's what you do. And then if you want to keep the drum, if the drum is not all in up, you want to keep the drum, just clean it on the inside, make sure there's no scratches and stuff like that. And then when you put it, you get all new parts for the inside, axle, everything, all new parts, new brake pads, new everything, and put it into that drum. You just don't change the bearings alone. If you change the bearings alone, there's a good chance that's not going to work. If it's not bad, if you're just doing it like to have to do it because your bike is, you care about it, then it's fine. But if it starts making noise or goes out completely, there's no point doing it, because what that means is that the race on the inside of the main bearing, where the main bearing goes, is no longer existing. So, yeah, that's how you service your bikes. I didn't have this from you, so someone else had it. I don't know how they serviced it. When I got it, the bottom bearings were exploded. So that right there shows how they're taking care of it. And I plan to make this bike go faster in the future. I'm not going to give spoilers of what I'm going to do yet, because I don't know if it's going to happen yet. But I'm planning to do some stuff to make this bike go faster. And we can't be going faster with a blown up coaster brake. Can't do it. If you wonder the tools that I use to work on bikes, look at this. Adjustable wrench, screwdriver. This right here was a 15 box wrench, but it was skinny, right? It came with something, I don't know what it came with, but I just took a vice grip and bent it so it grabs the cone nut, you see? On both sides. This is for BMX and this is for normal, but it's not specially made. I just bent it, see? To make it grab. You don't need special tools to work on your bike at all, because I have only one specialty tool. One, a spoke wrench. That's it. So, yeah. And don't tighten the cone nut too tight. You want to tighten it enough where there's no slop. You don't tighten it too tight where your wheel won't turn. I've seen that before. Tighten it enough and your wheel won't turn. You see how the bottom one's turning? Right there, see that? That's how it's supposed to be. If it's not turning, that means that you don't have the thing that goes to the axle. The two things, there's like a spring, you don't have them lined up inside when they don't turn. If you want to convert this to a freewheel, all you gotta do is just take the brake pads out and then hold everything so it goes together properly. And you still keep this arm, because if you don't keep the arm, then it won't pedal forwards at all. So, you gotta do. So now you get your cone wrench or wrench, you file down or bend, whatever. You hold this right here. And make sure you tighten this nut, because if you don't tighten this nut, I've done it because I didn't tighten this nut before, and what happened is that the whole thing just came apart and everything fell out. So tighten that nut. I never never, unless you never want to put your clothes back together, never take this side apart, ever. You know why? Because if you take this apart and the axle is stripped or breaks because it's not really tight, and the more the bike's been rode, the more tight this it gets. So it'll just snap off, and you can't put it back together. So don't do that. So look, you see? There's no noise. No noise there is this washer. And just look it to the side. Okay? And I hold this on. There's your forward, there's your back, there's your brake. So now we have to put this on the bike. What you want to do is put the back chain on first and take the front one off. You know why? So when you pedal the bike, this one will go on. You can comfort that one. So take it off. Then the wheel will go in easier. Sometimes it's harder with the fender. That's why having the fenders makes it harder, but it's not that hard. And always run washers, especially on the back one. The front, sometimes I forget and I lose them, but the back, always run them, because if you tighten this, it can crack this off and then your turn's done. If the fork one breaks, you just change the fork. So, if this one breaks, change your whole bike. And if you change the axle in your coaster brake, know that the coaster brake axle is different. It's not different. The threading on the rod is all the way through, right? So it's like the axle rod, the threading. It's not threaded only here and here. It's threaded all the way through. So if you change the axle, the stuff won't thread on. And I've actually got the stuff stuck, like the thing that's on the inside, like the thing that connects to that part. I got it stuck, right? So I couldn't get it off, and I never got to put that wheel back together because of that. So just know that it's different. So make sure you tighten this side, and if you have fender, right? You see that? How it's touching here? Because the fender is not. Number one, it's not tight up here. Number two, the wheel is too far back. So when you have fenders, it makes things a little harder, but it makes the bike look cool. So I'll see you guys in the next one when I'm going to be working on this bike again, but we'll be doing some other stuff with the front wheel and possibly brakes. I'm going to try to put brakes on with the fenders, so we'll see how that goes. So